Today, I'm going to talk about 4 different Miami-Dade neighborhoods: Doral, South Miami, Coral Gables, and Pinecrest. I'm going to share with you the location of each of these neighborhoods, a little bit about the different types of properties, and of course, some market information that I think you might find helpful. All right, let's do it. Hey everyone, my name is Jamey Prezzi. I'm a real estate agent in Miami-Dade and Broward counties. I work with my husband, Ognjen, Prezzi, and our team. Today I'm going to talk to you about 4 different Miami-Dade neighborhoods, and I'm just going to share with you some information that I think you'll find helpful, and that hopefully if you have any questions, you can let me know. If this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button so you never miss another update. We do put out new videos every week. Also use the link in our information box and download our free relocation guide. You can also find all of my contact information there. So if you would like to call, text, or email me, that's fine too. All right, let's get started. I think one of the most important things to do is to have a look at the neighborhoods in relation to where they are on a map, because Doral is definitely more on the more northwestern part of Miami-Dade. I mean, really north is over in this area. I wish I had done this map a little bit bigger, because Broward would be in this area, which that I'll tell you a little bit about why Doral is so interesting because of that connection to Broward. But it is more northwestern than, for example, Coral Gables, South Miami, or Pinecrest. And if you have a look over on the beach, Miami Beach, the only way to get off the beach and, the more northern part of the beach, Bal Harbor and Surfside, is the only way to get off is there's bridges, right? So these bridges can definitely get very busy. And so if you want to live on the beach, you definitely need to make sure that you kind of plan what you're going to be doing every single day, because you will, if you have to work and commute off the beach, then you will have to do that. So these are the things that we like to talk about at a buyer consultation, just to maybe help you a little bit with some direction and just to tell you what we know about living here in our experience. We lived on Miami Beach for over 20 years, but our son started playing soccer in Broward and also South Miami, or I'm sorry, not really South Miami, Kendall, and also school, and everything was west, south, and north for us. And this became a very hard drive. Even I would have loved to live in Brickell or Edgewater, but that was still very hard for us to get over into the more northern parts of Broward and, also Kendall. So anyways, it really depends on your preference for traffic, or your, I guess, tolerance for traffic. And it also depends on kind of what you have going on every single day. But I would definitely, if you have kids and you have to take them to school every day, where are they going to school in proximity to where you're going to be living? Do they have after school activities? Kind of all these are all the things you need to think about. Maybe you don't have kids and maybe you're retired, but you play pickleball and you need to, be in an area where they play pickleball or tennis or golf or something. I don't know. So whatever are your daily activities, I would definitely recommend to have an idea about what you're going to be doing every single day so that you are not caught off guard with the traffic and can enjoy living here. What's really interesting about Miami-Dade and Broward is we're connected, and that's why we work in both counties, but we're connected by these really great highway systems. So if you follow my cursor here, this is the Florida Turnpike, and this goes into Broward and all the way down into the southern part of Miami-Dade. And it's also connected by 836, which goes into Miami Beach. This runs, obviously, you can see east and west. The 112 runs east and west. And then this is 826. This goes north and south and goes into US 1. And good old 95. I know that runs up and down the East Coast. Everyone's familiar with 95, and it definitely has a reputation. But anyways, it goes into also Highway 1. Now, if you were living in Coral Gables or South Miami or Pinecrest, you're probably going to be using this Highway 1 at some point. But it is not like a highway, a super fast highway, like, for example, the Turnpike, because it's 4 lanes and they have traffic lights. So there's a lot of stop and go action. But these are just the things that you want to think about as you are thinking about relocating to the area. First, let's talk a little bit about Doral. As I mentioned before, Doral is on the western part of Miami-Dade County. It's very close to the airport. And what's really interesting about Doral is it's surrounded by the Florida Turnpike, this 826, and the 836. So it is definitely a great location in terms of a place to be to get around the rest of Miami-Dade and Broward, because Broward is just north of here. People always complain that the traffic in Doral is a lot. And I would say it's only really because during the week, there are a lot of people who commute into Doral to work. So at rush hour, the traffic can definitely be pretty heavy. But besides that, it's not that bad unless there's a major event going on. And on the weekends, it's definitely less than some other parts of Miami-Dade and Broward. So overall, Doral is a growing suburban city with master plan communities. There are a lot of HOA style neighborhoods in Doral, and that means also a lot of HOA fees, but people like that. If you don't like that, maybe Doral is not a good fit for you. But a lot of people love those HOA style communities with all of the different amenities and rules about how you have to keep your grass and, certain colors of paint for the house and all those things. But there's a lot of golf in Doral, parks, a lot of dining. People love to eat out all over Miami-Dade, but Doral has a lot of great restaurants. So let's talk a little bit about the market in Doral. Now, I only did single family homes, and this is the Realtor Property Resource Report for a month-over-month inventory. And I just think it's really interesting because sometimes you will hear people talk a bit about, oh, the market's like this, the market's like that. Well, first, in our area, there are so many different types of properties, price points, and just neighborhoods. So there are a lot of different things to know about buying real estate in Miami-Dade and Broward. And every little neighborhood has its own market, and every property type has its own market. So today I'm just doing single family homes in these areas. And I just want to show you, look, it's a seller's market in Doral. Now, people might not feel like that, but it is. 5.16 months of inventory. This is a great statistic here. I love for people to look at this number, this sold to list price ratio, because people will often say, hey, how much can I offer on a property? How much off is the normal? Well, in Doral right now, it's around 96.8% sold to list price, and it's up 1.58% from month over month. About 46 days on the market. I know some parts of the United States, 2 to 3 weeks is what people expect. But in our area, sometimes it can take a little bit longer for properties to sell, but also you see it's still a seller's market in Doral, and the median sold price is 1.074. Next, let's talk about South Miami. South Miami is a small suburban city. It's definitely close to the city, to Miami's urban core. Beautiful tree-lined streets, local shops, a really cute walkable downtown area with restaurants, good restaurants, cafes, and retail. It borders Coral Gables, Pinecrest, and unincorporated Miami-Dade. That's something we can talk about at a different time, but sometimes people are buying properties in unincorporated Dade, and they're like, hey, Jamie, what does that mean? But we can talk about that another time. Just something to know as you're buying real estate here and looking at real estate here. South Miami. All right. So South Miami is in a balanced market. See, very different than Doral. 6 months of inventory. The sold to list price is definitely different too. About 8% off the asking price. The median days is 14 and the sold price median is 1.040. Next, Coral Gables. Beautiful Coral Gables. This is exactly what I think when I think about Coral Gables. I love driving through there. It's a little bit more central in Miami-Dade County. The boundaries are around Southwest 8th Street to the north, Red Road to the east, Sunset Drive to the south, and Palmetto Expressway to the west. It is definitely known for Mediterranean revival architecture, tree-lined boulevards, and a variety of dining options. It is also very convenient to downtown Miami and Brickell. Again, not in rush hour, but generally speaking it is. It's just you have to drive through some of these roads that are not on the highway to get to downtown Miami and Brickell, unless you go on the highway and then you have to drive over to the highway system. So I don't know. It's just something to know, not good or bad. Just, it's just important to know if you're buying real estate in that area, what your drive is going to look like, your commute every single day. I love Coral Gables. The properties in Coral Gables are really nice. And the lots can be smaller in some parts of Coral Gables and other parts of Miami-Dade. It's just because obviously it's a little bit closer to the city. However, there are some huge lots there with, really nice homes. Super luxury. And you will see based on the price. All right, we're on the edge of a seller's market and a balanced market in Coral Gables. Months of inventory, 5.18. The sold to list price ratio, 95.4%. 57 median days on the market, and 2.25 is the median sold price. Pinecrest. Now, Pinecrest, I think my system put this beautiful green leaf here because Pinecrest is very green, as you can see in this picture. People love Pinecrest because the lots tend to be around 10,000 plus square feet. Big lots. Some people have taken some of the older properties and, demolished them and put really huge mega homes on these lots. It's bordered by South Miami to North Miami and Palmetto Bay to the south. The market trends you will definitely see in the price again. Now look at this. It's a buyer's market in Pinecrest. 7.33 months of inventory, 93.1% sold to list price ratio, 37 days on the market, and median sold price 2.25. I think the most important thing to know is that you can see from all 4 different neighborhoods, these are some of the most popular areas in Miami-Dade County. And it's really interesting because the price points are so different and the markets are different in every single one of these neighborhoods. Doral actually has a lot of townhomes. Actually, so does Coral Gables. And Doral has, I would say, a lot. Coral Gables has a lot of condominiums too. So they both have a lot of single family homes, townhomes, and condominiums. South Miami and Pinecrest more single family homes, but Coral Gables has a lot of single family homes too. So anyways, I hope that you found this helpful. Mainly, I just like to show the map and show the different pricing and for people just to kind of really get familiar with the areas here. And look, I haven't even touched on all the different neighborhoods throughout Miami-Dade, and also we work Broward too. So it's a huge area in South Florida, but a lot of people, because you can see like in this area here, this is where Broward starts. So it's very connected, for example, in Doral, and people really do work back and forth in both communities. And, sometimes people go to school here and sometimes people go to soccer like us in this area for my son. And, I don't know, it's just really good to know the area so that you can make a good decision prior to moving here or buying real estate here. Okay, I hope you found this video helpful. My name is Jamey Prezzi. This is my husband, Ognjen Prezzi. We've worked together for over 20 years, and you can find us on Instagram at the Prezzis. Always feel free to call, text, or email me. We're always here to be a good resource for you, and we will see you soon.